I have a golden rule for my relationship that I swear is like why we're so happy. I like to call it the I don't comment if I don't want to do it rule. It's rather self-explanatory, but for example, my fiance took our dog for a run a couple of weeks ago and it was pouring rain. Comes home from this rainy run with our dog and starts drying our dog off with a very nice, very expensive bath towel. And I said, hey, there's a ratty old beach towel in there if you want to dry him off with that instead. And he said no. And as much as I wanted to get mad and get annoyed and be like, you should dry him off with the beach towel, it's not nice, it's not expensive, I thought to myself, I don't want to dry the dog off. So you know what? You do it your way. I am not going to comment because I don't want to do it. And that's my golden rule.
Now on this one, I'm on her side. If you got a dirty towel or a towel that's being used up, let's use the good towels for us and then the old towels for something else. That's less important, in my opinion.
When I think a man's good looking and then I look at him and then he doesn't approach me. Like, did you not see?
Shut the up. Anyways, boys, we got a par 3 here. There's a little pond right in front of the hole, so I gotta lob it right over that thing.
Oh! I thought you wanted red. What? I thought you did.
You better clean up all this
No,
mess.
Dion, that's too much.
You better clean up all this mess. You better clean up all this mess, okay?
That's crazy.
You better clean all that mess up.
What? You do too much. You do a little too much.
Probability of paternity of both of these is 0%. So the court so finds that Mr. Black is not the biological father of the children at this time. It's in the interest of Giddens' minor children. We're dealing with 2 twin little girls. Both of them look like they're going to be, 2 years old this year. Anyway, the non-custodial party is Donnell Black. The custodial party is Tristan Giddens, and this matters before the court. A petition established parent-child relationship. Let's see, there was a first amended petition filed, and we've been operating under a temporary order since, looks like April of this year. Court will note the court did substitute Ms. Swartz in for Ms. Garcia in this matter as the ad litem. Anyway, I'll ask the state for an opening, and see what the state's requesting we do here today and what kind of agreements and contests we have at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I have reached out to Ms. Schwartz, and she communicated, or her paralegal communicated to me that they had no objection to proceeding without her. The reason for that is because we have negative DNA results. So would ask the court to do an order, and neither party, I believe, is going to dispute the negative DNA. So would ask the court to do an order adjudicating that Mr. Vinell Black is not the father, and then we would need to get some language voiding out the obligation that was created under the temporary order. So I'd seek the court's guidance on how the court would like that order to read.
This was not an AOP matter, correct?
No, sir, Your Honor. This is a paternity action.
All right, then, folks. I've got in my hand right now Stakes Exhibit number 1. This is the DNA test for both the twin little girls. Is there any reason I should not let Stakes 1 in at this time, Mr. Black or Ms. Giddens?
No, sir.
No.
All right, so Stakes 1 is admitted. Stakes 1 shows that Mr. Donnell Black as not the biological father of the child, Michaela. I think that may be how you pronounce it. And is not the biological child of the child, Melissa. Probability of paternity of both of these is 0%. So the court so finds that Mr. Black is not the biological father of the children at this time. Let's see. I'll go ahead and order the prior order null and void. We're gonna do away with it. Let's see what the original order said. How did we get that? We did a chat without a DNA test and AOP. Okay. All right. So what's the state asking for us to do here today, and what's the ad litem asking for us to do in behalf of his client? Thank you.
Well, Your Honor, so I'm requesting an order that adjudicates Mr. Black as not the father, and I'm seeking some guidance from the court as to how that order ought to read that voids out the temporary order.
At this time, the court finds that obviously he's not the parent in this of the child in this matter. Court this time is you can non-suit it, we can dismiss it, we can do whatever is necessary, and there's no obligation going forward on this matter.
So my preference, Your Honor, is if I can draft an order that specifically makes a finding that Mr. Black is not the father.
Well, that's part one for sure. Yes.
Okay.
And again, the order of non-parentage, and if there's any unpaid child support in this matter, the court will forgive that, obviously. But anything that was done prior to that, then I can't undo because it was part of the court order, and it was a legitimate default hearing. So, anything else, Mr. Diamond? I said everything is suspended. Child support, any type of access visitation, that's all gone bye-bye, and anything that's owed is dismissed. All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Giddings. Anything else? Any questions, ma'am?
Okay.
And you know what's funny? It's the fact that she said, I'm not going to be held accountable. I'm not going to admit that I was wrong. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bolt out of here because I don't want people seeing what a jerk, a loser I look like for sitting up here telling this man that this child was his all these years just to find out that absolutely, this whole time I've been positively, absolutely lying.
I flew here, and I will say on the flight over, I was sitting next to these 3 kids with their dad, and it really ruined the flight. Sorry, the whole flight, they were just like, daddy, 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 daddy. I'm like, you've ruined that word.
Does anyone else have a husband that they just absolutely cannot vent to?
I do not. The very next day after she made this video, her entire transmission just failed. Okay, just going down the road just stopped working. Okay, let me tell you right now, I'm serious. Like, this is me taking it apart. Okay, I mean, it's gone. And she called me and she said, hey, oh my gosh, the transmission is doing something weird. The car's revving. I don't know what to do. Oh my God. And I was like, the car's revving? Oh my God. You think it's a transmission? Holy crap. Oh my God, that sucks. Oh my God, life sucks. And she was like, no, what do you mean? I was like, what? You didn't want to vent? You don't want to vent? You want to vent now? I thought it was just vent to me. It's fine. I don't need to solve problems, have solutions. I don't need to fix your car. Just vent to me. That's all that matters.
And I bet she gave you the silent treatment. For about a month.
I walked myself through the logistics of where would I live, how would we split the time with the kids, who gets the dog. I feel like I have been searching for something in my relationship that we don't have for the whole time we've been married, which has been 10 years. There is not a single thing about my husband in and of himself that I do not love. He is the most self-disciplined, loyal, hardworking, good person that you could meet on this planet. Our relationship and what my expectations are for my marriage and what they always have been are not met. I can't be myself with my husband, and it's really confusing because I'm 32 years old, I am a mom of 3, and I still don't know who I am.
Yeah, that's a great idea though. Get divorced, be a 32-year-old single mom re-entering the dating market. You're really cooking here. That's a bright idea, lady.
Think about a nightmare. Entering into the dating market, trying to find somebody that's going to take on her 3 kids just to marry her, and then another 10 years down the line, and maybe another kid or 2, she's talking about, I still don't know who I am. I'm going to get divorced again.
The right way, quote unquote, is like so boring to me.
Because the right way for you requires you to repress every part of your dark nature. I'm not telling you to do that.
And they have to lead, and I have to sit there and wait for a phone call. It's like, no.
I want you to integrate all of those things. I want to leverage to get a phone call. I want all of this control. But what makes your life boring is that it lacks emotional substance. You know that?
Yeah, it does.
And even when you have it with a guy that's exciting, what makes it exciting for you is the fact that he's playing this game. And then when you get him, you're like, where's the excitement?
There's nothing there.
Are you realizing that you're going to be hitting an existential wall that's going to require you to evaluate on your life as a woman and start connecting to that?
Yeah.
The emotional substance of yourself is starting to dive deep into a need that you have called security, and taking it so damn deep that you look yourself and go, my God, this thing I've been looking for was something no one could ever give me but myself. And my whole life has a list of experiences and beliefs that have shaped me to be the woman that I am, that is making me question whether or not God exists, whether or not love is real, whether or not I am bad. That will change change you in the process of interacting with that. And by the way, you will get to an existential truth that exists at the bottom of that need. Where does security really come from?
The double standard between men and women in the fitness community is so funny. I was watching this YouTube video the other day, and this man was saying how, like, after every single meal he weighed himself, and if he was above a certain weight, then he knew he had eaten too much, and he claimed he didn't track, but that's how he, like, stayed lean and didn't track food. And I'm like, if a woman went on social media and went on there and was like, yeah, I weigh myself after every meal, and if I weigh above a certain amount, then I know I ate too much, and then I just tone it down, or I skip a meal, and then I actually only eat a protein shake, and I can't remember what else he said, but basically he only like a protein, for the majority of the day, he would just eat like a protein shake and something else, and then he had like one big meal a day. Like, I would love to see the reaction that the internet would have if a woman came on social media and said that. I would love it. I would love to see the reaction.
Would any men care about this? There'd probably be a lot of women talking about this.
Guys, I'm wearing my tallest heels today because I'm tired of putting up with these short ass men. They don't even get the chance with me. If we're talking and you're less than 3 inches taller than me, you're not getting the time of day. You think that's embarrassing? No, that's not happening from me tonight. You're not getting the chance. You're not getting the opportunity. I have standards, and I'm tired of getting played by short men. So I'm just gonna get played by tall men, preferably with mustaches and hats that look like Republicans but are actually liberals.
So the other night I was at my friend's house, and there was a very, very handsome man there. And I sat down and started talking to him. And he said some things that were shocking. So I'm 35, he's 33, and we stumbled upon the topic of what are the ages of people that you would date. And I'm over here like, the youngest I would date currently is 30. And to me, that's pushing it. Like, that's still a little too young at my ripe years of 35 years old. And this man says to me that he would date a woman who is 20 years old. He's 33. And then he goes on to say that he wants... Sorry, my sister called me and I got cut off. So he said that he wants them younger so that he can mold her into the woman and girlfriend that he wants her to be. And my initial reaction is, ew, okay, that's very grooming of you. And then he continues to say that the less relationship experience that she has, the better, so that she's not bringing drama and expectations from previous relationships into this relationship. And he doesn't see that there's anything wrong with this. Dude, you're literally talking about grooming 20-year-olds as a 33-year-old man. This is disgusting behavior. This is disgusting.
This is why you got to be careful of these modern women. If it doesn't fit what they think is right, then they'll call you a straight criminal and try to get you thrown in jail for something that's not even a crime. Their law is what they think should be the law of the land.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. Check your seatbelt. Have fun.
You're good.
Somebody said they need a full throttle lane and then a mom and kids lane. I fully agree.
Here's a list of things that guys have said to me that made me think, oh, this is not going to work out. One time I was taking a road trip with a guy who I'd been dating for a few months, and I pointed out some trees that were beautiful, and I just kept saying it because they were just so beautiful. And I pointed to a tree and I said, look at how beautiful that tree is. And he said, you already said that. And I did not speak for the rest of the drive. One time I was dating a very tall white man, and I asked him what his type was, and he said short Asians. One time I was talking about a book that I liked, and the guy who I was dating said, I don't care. I once went on a date with a guy where the total of our meal was $30, and he Venmo requested me for $15. I once dated a man for an entire month and had to ask him if he thought I was pretty, so I guess in that case, it's what he didn't say that made me know it was not going to work out. One time on a first date, I was talking about my faith with a guy who had told me he was a Christian, and halfway through, he interrupted me and said, are you trying to recruit me? One time a guy canceled a date on me because he was downtown drinking alone after taking mushrooms with his roommates, but could see himself following Jesus in the future. True story. He sent me a Merry Christmas text 7 months later after not speaking. One time a guy asked me if he could get me something sweet, and he brought me a bowl of frozen peach slices with a massive frozen strawberry on top. And no utensil even, just the frozen fruit. I once modeled for my sister, who's a photographer, and did some fun photos, and when I showed them to my boyfriend at the time, he mocked me. Did not compliment any of the photos. One time I got a haircut, and when I went to see my boyfriend at the time, right after getting my haircut, he did not notice, and when I pointed it out, he said, oh. So anyway, those are a few of my happy dating experiences.
So I like this comment here because I think it highlights a point. She's talking about all this stuff about what he did. He did this, he did that, he said this, he said that. And then this one comment says, one time a man asked me a question and I answered it, and he responded with, you should talk less. Sometimes women say things that I don't think they fully understand what they just said. They might be talking and they might be popping off at the mouth and then just like really going, and you're like, why are you saying that? Why are you talking about that? Are you reading the room? Are you reading what actually needs to be said? And so sometimes you actually do need to talk less, because some things you probably shouldn't say. And maybe when, for instance, the guy says, are you trying to recruit me? Maybe it didn't sound like you were talking about your faith, just sharing your faith. Maybe it sounds a little bit like you're trying to recruit me. Like you're talking about it so much that you want me to come to your church, almost like you're forcing your faith on me. That's what it feels like right now. And instead of stepping back and saying, maybe I am doing a little bit too much, you said it's the man's fault. All of these situations and scenarios, it's the man's fault. One of the things that I would have thought you had to do as a Christian is take accountability for the things that you did wrong.
This might piss some people off, but it has to be said. Not every tear means someone's a victim, and not every man is automatically the... Let's talk about vulnerable narcissism in women, the face of narcissism nobody wants to address. We've been trained to see narcissism as arrogance, grandiosity, and entitlement, usually in men. But vulnerable narcissism wears a completely different mask. It hides behind pain, it hides behind sensitivity, it hides behind the very real experiences of trauma, but weaponizes those experiences as a tool to control. Here's how it plays out. A woman gets dysregulated and demands that her entire family reorganize around her emotions. She'll control partners with phrases such as, you need to change if you want me to feel safe. She manipulates co-parenting dynamics. This is where I see it a lot, mandated co-parenting dynamics, by turning the children against their father because she feels threatened, abandoned, and wounded. Here's the part that stings. Yes, her pain is real, but that does not make her behavior healthy. Emotional dysregulation does not justify emotional control. Your trauma is not your partner's debt to pay. In fact, research shows that this is not just anecdotal. Dr. Pincus and Kane, they describe vulnerable narcissists as hypersensitive and control-seeking through victim narratives. In parental alienation research, we see clear patterns of emotional manipulation used as punishment in co-parenting dynamics. But what's really interesting in all of this, nobody wants to consider this when it's wrapped up in female fragility. The Me Too movement exposed real, but it also gave some women a shield to hide behind and to avoid accountability. If you cry enough, society will believe that you are the victim. But if a man did these same controlling behaviors, monitoring where you go, who you talk to, demanding constant reassurance, we'd call it emotional. Control is control, no matter who is doing it. And sometimes covert female narcissism hides in plain sight because we confuse tears with truth. This is not about blaming women. Don't get your knickers in a twist, loves. This is about owning that dysfunction wears many faces. True healing requires that we are willing to call out unhealthy patterns. It's very easy for us to all do it externally until it's time to do it on ourselves, even when it's uncomfortable. Don't believe me? I'll link the research down below, because knowledge is power and ignorance is a choice.
And you know none of the women are going to listen to this at all. Not 1 second.
When a man says he works in tech, you really got to do further diligence, because are you a software engineer or a help desk engineer? Two very different jobs, two very different salary brackets.
And what I like about this is there's women in the comments holding her silly behind accountable.
I've never once met a good man. My entire life, going on almost 32 years, okay? I've never met one genuinely good man. Every single man I have encountered has done something absolutely horrific and minimized it. Every single man that I've encountered is a liar, is a perv, and does not see women as humans. Every single man that I have ever encountered is so far up the patriarchy's booty butt. They genuinely think that it's okay for them to not grow past the mental age of 12. They genuinely think that having a job is all that they need to do. I have never met a good man. Not my father, I don't consider him a good man. My brothers, really not good men. My ex, baby daddy, not a good man. His dad, horrible man. His two brothers, one of them is halfway decent, but still don't consider him good. His sister's husband, really. All of my male family members, horrible people. All of my past male colleagues, all of my male instructors, professors, all of them are horrible. Horrible. There is no such thing as a good man. And if you think you're a good man, please explain why. I'd love to hear it, because I guarantee you, probably 99.99% guarantee, your explanation is going to show that you are not a good man.
So, as I am looking through these comments, you know, I just wrote something out and I said, at some point, many of the ladies in these comments have to come to grips with just how terrible their outlook on life is. She didn't like that.
Now that society is so ingrained to dating someone based on money or social status that, God forbid, I gave the man that I was actually attracted to. Sorry. Oh my God, sorry. Like, but he works at Enterprise. My bad. Like, goddamn. You know what I mean? I thought that's how it worked. I thought dating worked like that. I thought it was like, oh, I'm physically attracted to this person and I like this person's personality. We actually connect. I want to give him, so I gave him. But now it's like, ha ha, you gave someone that you like and you didn't get no money out of it. Ha ha.
Fine men aren't just floating around like fine boy. I leave my house, I see a couple of men. I see a couple of girls that they might not be a 10, but they at least a 9, a 9.5, an 8, a 6, a 7. Like,
that's not true. It's just simply not true. Every time I walk out my house, if they're not a 10, they're at least a 9, an 8. What the Yo, the way some women truly believe that ugly women just don't exist, it's honestly mind-blowing. And that's how we get videos like this. Like when an unattractive woman makes a video, how they be in the comments, oh, period, sis, you're stunning, blah, 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 blah. That's how we get videos like this. Shaquille, everybody don't gotta be it. You don't have to be, but you don't have to say anything at all either. I'd rather you not say to me before you lie to me. And I keep telling y'all this. This is what you gotta understand about men. What you see is what you get, unless he just out here hat fishing. But you see, I ain't got no cut, no shave, no nothing. What you see is what you get. There are women in this world, they will not step outside unless they touch their face. They will not record a video on TikTok unless they touch their face. It's not the same. If every woman in America for 1 week didn't wear no makeup, no wigs, no lashes, they ain't do nothing. They just went out as they are. Bro, y'all have to stop this. It's a sickness. It's a disease. There are ugly women in this world, just like there are ugly men in this world. There's 10 attractive women for every one man that's attractive. Where do y'all get this from? Where do you get this from?
What women say they want isn't actually what they want. I cannot count how many times I have heard men say that. This is red pill theory that says, women aren't what they seem. Protect yourself, become cold, dominant, emotionally detached. And look, guys, you can buy into that if you want to. I actually don't hate all red pill theory. At least some of the stuff from the original Manosphere is biologically accurate, socially on point from what I can tell. I haven't read all of it. But from the little that I have, I can appreciate some of the logic. Here's the issue. Red pill may work great for men who are already alpha males or who have that embedded in their DNA. Or if you're off running bikini competitions and exposed to high worth individuals. But as the average single guy who's living in a condo or a suburban home, you're age 20 to 50, you're making $50,000 a year. What are the chances that you're going to be exposed to women at the Playboy Mansion or on the red carpet and have a sudden massive change in financial status? I hope for your sake that you can make that happen, but let's get real. There is no such thing as everyone being an alpha male. Otherwise, there wouldn't be anyone to be alpha too. And red pill for the average guy isn't getting you laid. It's not getting you into high return relationships. At best, it's validating your frustrations, giving you some tactical advice for either hitting on a chick or occasionally trying to get laid, and it can give you some sense of short-term power. At worst, it's keeping you angry, disconnected, and alone, and a far pace from love and long-term relationships. Humans are not designed to stay unplugged and emotionally distant, because operating from a place of every woman is an opportunist and you can't trust women to know what they want is going to do that to you. And I assure you, gentlemen, quality women are very clear on what they want. I will agree with you, however, that there is a massive disconnect, and I believe that men and women are not hearing each other. Women do indeed need to be clearer, and men need to listen with understanding. We need to work on translation. I would love to help. So let's decode a few of these things that women say, but they don't literally mean. Number one, I don't care about money. This does not mean I am willing to date an unemployed guy who still lives in his mom's basement, who can't afford to go on vacation, doesn't have a savings account, and never has money to take me out. I don't care about money translates to I care about lack of money, but I'm not looking for a sugar daddy. I don't need you to support me. I don't need a Ferrari, and I'm not interested in having a yacht and a 10,000 square foot mansion. What this looks like is you still have to make your own money. You have to run your finances with competence. You have to make plans for your financial future, and you have to splurge on your partner when you can. Number two, I want a nice guy. That does not mean I want a spineless jellyfish who is over-delivering without merit. It doesn't mean I want someone who is a pushover and gives me whatever I demand. It means I want someone who has self-respect and is able to deliver kindness and generosity to me and to others from a place of strength and self-confidence. What this looks like is you being thoughtful and generous to a woman and to others who have earned your thoughtfulness and your generosity. Because if a woman treats you like crap and then you bend over backwards and do nice things for her, she will never respect you, and your efforts will have worked completely against you. Number three, looks aren't important. It means that you do not have to be supermodel hot. You don't have to have a perfect jawline. You don't have to look like you stepped out of a Vogue magazine. You don't have to wear expensive clothes, and you don't have to have a perfect hard body with chiseled muscles. It does not mean that you can dress like a slob, have lousy hygiene, make no effort with your appearance. Most women do admit they want someone who is proportional and at least as tall as they are, if not taller. Obesity is the most common thing that I hear women say they are not attracted to, followed by, I want someone taller than me. Women want someone who takes care of their body, who makes an effort with their clothes and their hair to be clean and stylish, who practices good hygiene. They want you to make an effort to look presentable and appropriate for the occasion. Women want you to take the initiative to improve yourself when you can. These are the things that you would expect of them. When you start hearing what women want as an invitation to connect and not a personal attack or a trap, you step out of the victim mode and into actual power, even if you are not the alpha male.
I'm Dr. Charlotte Vaughn. This is day 4. Follow me tomorrow for day 5.
Well, I don't think that most men want to be an alpha male. I don't think most men are looking to make $100,000. Well, I think everybody's looking to make a little bit more money. But I think the issue for a lot of people, for a lot of men, is that you can be these things, but you have some women out there that are, not all women, but you have some women out there that think that they're above average men. As a guy in the comments said, they think that as an average woman, you're above an average man. You do all of these things, right? You don't have to go to the extreme. You don't have to watch these compilations. You can think of it as entertainment, right? Just something to laugh at, pass the time. But when you get out there in the real world, then you're in front of a woman and you're trying to have a conversation and she's talking about you. Why would you even get up here in front of my face? And then she gets on TikTok and she starts doing that. Even if you move that to the side and you say that's a small percentage of women that are doing that, women today, I think, need to learn how to interact with men. You said something to the effect of women know what they want, and you started talking about a translation problem. Men, a lot of times, know what the translation is. They're aware of what the translation is. But for some women out there, they're changing their minds. A man is reading them and they're changing their minds. They're saying, no, that I didn't mean that, or I didn't think that, or whatever it is. And the man has to go through so many other tests to prove when you come back around, yes, that is actually what you were talking about. You just didn't want to be cornered. That's what it is. Most women don't want to be cornered. They don't want to be left with no options. What women want men to do is when men get a bead on them, as the hunter and the gatherer who observes, when they get a bead on them, back in, they want them to pull up and give them a way out. They want them to stop and say, oh, well, yeah, but you probably could have done this, and give them the benefit of the doubt. Just let them go. Some men don't. Okay, you want a man to be a little less aggressive in that way? Fine. But once again, if you want a man to be a little less aggressive, you need to be accountable. You need to articulate. Okay, shoot, I wasn't articulating what I thought I was. I wasn't saying what I thought I was saying. I wasn't looking how I thought I was looking. Maybe if I want the man to approach, for example, I should do things to make it clear to the man that I like, I want you to come over here and talk to me. Let's have a conversation. And then when that man gets close, you don't do this weird stuff like, oh, well, I'm going to change my mind, and then talk to the man like he was wrong for coming over. Why would you even come over there? Because you gave me the signal. I ain't never give you no signal. I was looking at the TV back there, lying. I have a husband, lying. I have a boyfriend at home. I have 3 kids, lying. You change your mind in the middle of the move, and now a man is trying to figure out what happened. He read the signs. Now you're telling him, gaslighting him, he didn't read the signs right. So at some point in time, like I said, women have to take accountability. They have to take responsibility for what they're doing out here. We got the red pill, we got the whatever, whatnot. Responsibility. This is how I'm communicating and articulate what I want. Well, we want a nice guy. What exactly do you mean by that? I shouldn't have to explain to you, you're a man, just be a man. Well, what do you actually mean by you don't care about money? I shouldn't explain to you, you have to be a man. That type of stuff. Women keep on saying, I just want a man that figures it out. I tell you what, I had a woman that she put out a video today talking about, I'm going to start respecting myself and my boundaries. And people don't, she said something to the effect of people, they have to earn your graciousness. Like they have to earn basically your respect. And I asked a question to her, knowing what she was going to say. I already know what she was going to say. You decided that you're going to be selfish. And so I just said, how does that work for men then? If you think that men, when in dating, need to be gracious and need to prove themselves to you and earn you being gracious, earn you being nice to them, are you going to do that for the man? Are you going to reciprocate? Sure. Do you know what graciousness means? Yeah, I know what graciousness means. You just moving the goalpost. You just going a different way. You really don't want to tell me that you want a man to follow your every move and do everything you say, and then maybe if I feel like hanging out with you again, I will. But if I don't, block, ghost. I don't have to talk to you, and you just spent money. That's the way dating is. Just another way to say, I want to use men. I want to be out here like another modern woman. I want to get out here and start messing around on men and dogging men out. That's just another way of saying it. So at some point in time, I think articulation and I think integrity, they're flat out lying. We talk about how men are this and men are that. And I thank you for this video. But some of these women are flat out lying.
I came across a video today and they were debating about whether going on a coffee date was a good first date or not, or whether a man taking a woman on a coffee date is enough. And I'm going to tell you why I don't want to go on another one ever again. Well, I agree that the concept of a coffee date is good, so you can try and get to know the person that you're going on a date with. And the first date is not ideal. This guy that I knew for a very long time, we used to work together, but we fell out of touch. He asked me out on a coffee date a few months back. I thought, why not? I know who this man is. You know, we always got along as friends. It's been a long time. Yeah, let's catch up and get some coffee. I quickly found out that coffee dates are not my favorite thing. And you know why? Because it felt like an interview. It felt like we were just going back and forth, asking questions on whether or not we would be a good match. No one wants to do that on the first date. I want to laugh. I want to have fun. I want to imagine what the rest of our relationship is going to look like. I don't want to be interviewed for 2 hours on whether or not we would get along or not. You should definitely wait till at least the second or third date. So that way you can establish what kind of relationship you're actually going to pursue. Was the coffee date wrong or bad or anything? No, it was totally fine. There was absolutely nothing wrong with this man. There was nothing wrong with the situation at all, except for it felt like an interview, which then in turn makes me not want to go back for a second date, because I just got interrogated for the last 2 hours with good intentions, but there was no fun. There was no excitement. There was nothing behind that. If I can't have fun with you, if I can't imagine what future dates are going to look like, why would I want to go on a second date? I don't. I think there's a lot of really good guys missing out on good opportunities because they're choosing a coffee date first. You're not showing the girl any excitement. You're not showing her the happy, fun side. You're not showing her the adventurous side. You're not showing her any side except for asking 21 questions. The first date is not the date for that. I don't want to know every detail about you. I want to have fun. I want to get to know your personality, not necessarily your story. Does that make sense? Unless you're a stand-up comedian, you're not going to hit the nail on the head on a coffee date. Now, obviously, I can't speak for everyone. I don't want to go to dinner. I don't want to go sit at coffee. I don't want to go anywhere that I'm just going to have to sit and stare at you for 2 hours and ask you about your life. I need to know if you can joke around with me. I need an activity to pass the time for the silence when we're not asking your life story. I need to keep my hands busy. So if you're wanting more than just a first date, bowling, golfing, paint and sip, anything other than sitting across from you and staring at you, because that's what the next few dates are for. The first date is to see if I even want to get to know your life story more, if we are compatible on that level. So the first date should not be a sitting down face-to-face conversation. We should be doing something. If you can't do that on the first date, I don't know what to tell you, but it's probably why you're not getting a second.
You can't speak for everybody, and you don't need to speak for everybody. Dr. Vaughn, this is what the men were talking about. This is exactly what they were talking about. There's a woman in the comments. Let me read it to you. First of all, I'm not going to say her name, but this is what she says. Guys who want coffee dates are cheap, period. This is something that the red pill, the manosphere, discusses. Avoid women like this. I know you have your preference. There's many other things that you can do. But talking about men that takes you on a coffee date is cheap. It's crazy work. You don't know what. I mean, just say that you can't talk to people. Just say that you don't know how to have a conversation and leave it at that. A woman says, And I actually like this one. If you're actually looking for love, of course, a coffee date is perfect. Why would you want to have a 2-hour dinner with a complete stranger for at least getting to know each other? A 30-minute or an hour coffee date is perfect. To which she responds, a 30-minute coffee date can be a FaceTime call. We know that, Brandy. We know that. We're aware of that. But when you want to get out of the house, we've already had the FaceTime call. Great, let's meet up for coffee so we can see each other in person, so we can read the vibes in person. We know that, Brandy. Goodness. I also said dinner was the same thing. You can have those conversations on the phone. The first date should be an activity of some kind. Do you people not even have a phone call before a first date? Yes. Yes, we do have a phone call before a first date. We do. This is what men be talking about. You act like you don't understand. Y'all be talking about the stuff that y'all don't want happening. Y'all be saying this stuff, and men are weird. I don't think that you can really nail anything on a coffee date. Why not? If you go over there, you're sitting across the table from each other, you're going to be doing the same thing at dinner. Well, it's not the same. It's not the same because, like she said, you're looking for something else. You haven't trained your mind to say, let me see what this person's about. In a lot of ways, get this, a coffee date can be more intimate than a dinner date. Well, why do you say that? You can go at night. You can go around 7 o'clock if you want to. Y'all can sit outside. Starbucks. Yeah, I got on a fancy. You don't even have to go to no fancy coffee shop. You can go to Starbucks and sit outside. In the summertime, the wind breezing, have a nice little coffee, just look outside, enjoying the sounds. You can do that and sit there and chat for a little while. You can go at 6, be chatting till 7 or 8. Oh man, well, I had a great time. Hey, you want anything else from inside? No, I think I'm good. Okay, well, you want me to walk you to your car? Yeah, you know what? I appreciate that. All right, where you at? Okay, walk to the car, give a little hug. Well, I had a great night. Okay, I'm gonna text you. Let me know when you get to the house. All right, see you later, or whatever you want to say to end the date. That's how a coffee date can go. But because, like we've been saying, modern women's mindset is so limited, then they say silly stuff like this. And men see it and they're like, man, you can't do nothing with them. Because they keep on calling you cheap. They keep on calling you broke. They keep on saying that you ain't doing the right thing. You ain't adventurous enough. Show me. I'm not here to I'm not here to know your story or whatever, whatnot, whatever she said. What? Yes, you are, actually. You're here to know who I am. Well, I don't want you asking 21 questions. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fine. So why don't you communicate and say, you know what, honestly, and I know you're probably not trying to make this, but it feels a little bit like an interview. Oh, my man, I'm sorry. I just, I get in this mode of asking questions, and my family kind of makes fun of me sometimes too, because they make it see that they tell me it seems like I'm a detective or something like that. I'm so sorry, my bad. Done. And if he keeps on doing that, you just don't see him again. But whatever you went out there to do, you got accomplished. Well, I don't want to see him again, or I do want to see him again. But either way, you're communicating. Once again, Dr. Vaughn, this is what men were saying. These modern women are doing things that they should not. They're saying things. They're thinking things that they should not be thinking. It ain't no translation problem. Men are reading this correctly and saying, she's about to say this. That's what Kevin Samuels is doing. I'm going to tell you what she's about to say. She's about to say this. She's about to do this. And this usually means that she thinks like this. Avoid her at all costs. Please.
I think a lot of you guys don't understand that you're living truly in a world of delusion. What I mean by that is you're basing your decisions and worldview off of scenarios that you've played out in your head but may not exist in the real world. One area where I see this playing out heavily is the male loneliness epidemic, where people are talking about dating, primarily dating online, hinge matches that you do or don't get. And you see a lot of men being like, oh, if you're not like a level 10 super attractive guy with hunter eyes and you're 6 foot, you're never going to meet a high quality woman. I'm sorry, but you sound
crazy. And listen, this isn't to say that the emotional toll of feeling like an outsider, feeling very lonely, isn't real and it's not incredibly distressing. But I am going to say, maybe instead of just living in the reality that all of your favorite influencers who make money off of your rage bait have been parroting to you and baby bird feeding into your mouth 24 hours a day, go out in the real world, experience community with other people, then make your own decision about how you want to step into the real world, including dating and friendships. I think with a little bit of human-to-human time outside, you may feel a little bit better. All I'm saying.
You know what I find funny? Is that they say this about the males, but they don't be talking about how the T app. You find women in support of the T app. Oh yeah, go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, if you have that group on Facebook, are we dating the same man? Go ahead. Oh, we have to. We need to. We've got to. And men are steadily telling you, hey, this is not how all men are. Maybe you need to go touch grass. Misogynistic. The patriarchy. You're trying to uphold the patriarchy. You're trying to misuse me. You're trying to mishandle me, and I'm not going to stand for it. We can continue labeling these things, delusion, the male loneliness epidemic, all of these epidemics to say that men fall short, men lack. But when we start talking about women, when men say, you know what, hey, I'm coming outside. Oh, what you come out here for? Because I thought you said to come outside. I didn't mean come over and talk to me. What? Yeah, you talk to one of those other women. I'm out of your league. And then you go down the road talking to 10 women and all of them say the same. Yeah, you out of my league, girl. Knowing full well that man is above your league. That's what they talk about, man. We got to stop doing that stuff. Then a dude in the comments said the only person or people I've heard talking about this so-called male loneliness epidemic is women. Men, are any of you actually lonely? I mean, I'm sure I get bored sometimes, but lonely? That's a strong word. She responds and says, I'm using the commonly used term, which women made, you're not going to say that though, to describe phenomena that you can see in this very comment section. You can argue the semantics of one term I used, but that doesn't mean the faulty belief systems I described don't exist. Just talking. It sounds good. Just talking. He responds and says, I agree. I apologize. Admittedly, I'm an airhead sometimes, so I miss the point of what people are saying. The phrase male loneliness epidemic seems to be a trending topic, and I think I was too fast and loose with my comment. I completely understand the second part of your post. Everybody does. All of the men do. But men know the end of it. All you're saying is great, but men know the end of it. We can talk all we want to. We can make it sound beautiful. We can make it sound pretty, but I know the end of it. I know where you're going from the start. I can stick around, but I know where you're going from. Well, you didn't know. I did know. You tell me I didn't know, caused me to doubt myself. And then when we get to the end and I think about what you said, you went where I thought you would go. They were who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook